Alright, so this is how it's all sitting now in the control room. I've added now this tiny servo which I'm going to use with a micro switch to turn to reset the Arduino. I've piled all of the relays in that nice little pile, as you can see, and I'm just testing this now. Yes, that works quite well. I think that is the ballast channel that does that. Now I've taken this piece of plastic, as you can see, and formed it around that servo, and that's going to be the base for the Arduino. And I've got to make sure I can access the Arduino through the USB once it's in the boat, so that I can change the code if I want to and make it do whatever I want it to do. It's quite remarkable, really. Just with that you can make it do anything. So now just testing how this piston is going to work, and it's really fine. It's got lots and lots of room. Makes my submarine look like it's a miniature. Alright, here it is. I've just started it up for the first time, and I've discovered that it's all working, although I've made a couple of mistakes. The first mistake that I've made is that the little servo down here that's meant to trip the reset button is turning the wrong way. So I've really mucked that up, and I'm going to have to take out the micro switch, which is buried in there, and change its position. That's possible. I can do that. Now if you look under here, you can see the relays, and this is the relay for the diving tanks, for the surfacing routine. These are the trim tanks. This is the piston. That's all working really well. What I've done though is I've wired the servo, the retract servo and the servos, to this instead of that. That's a problem, so I'm going to have to take it out and do a little bit of rewiring for two different things. But other than that, this isn't too bad, given the fact it's bloody complicated, and it's already done so far. The only thing I've not connected up so far is the 11 volts, which are going to now be connected up to all of the relays along here. That's going to be quite a task because the wires are thick. It's not as easy to do, but we're nearly there. We're nearly there. It's nearly operational. Now I'll just turn that off. I can't say this process is easy at any time. There's a lot to wiring something up. What I'm doing here is I've got this ribbon wire that's going to run from the bow to the stern for the hydroplanes, and just for now I'm connecting this up to this wire that comes with the Arduino, so that I can happily plug these into the hydroplanes, and it's all temporary, just so that I can test everything and make sure everything's working. This is the kind of stuff that takes a lot of time, because it's never just a matter of wiring something up. You always have to test it. You always have to make sure everything's operating properly before you can. And it tends to take a bit of time. But these little these little Arduino connectors, you know, $3 or $4 for a whole set, and they even match the colours of this strip wire, which I bought from the electronics shop. They're very fine, but it'll take all the juice that's necessary for running a servo. I can guarantee that. Done this many times. I mean, some of the servo wire that you see is really overdone. It's far too thick. I'm probably underdoing it here, but that's all it's going to take to go to power up two servos from one end of the boat to the other. Let's just cook them a bit. Not too much, it's only temporary. That will power up the servos. So these three wires are for the piston. The blue is the earth and the other two are either the earth or positive. These finer wires are for the trim tank pump, and these are for the main ballast pump. You can see I've put a little bit of plastic in here to keep the main earth away from these positive wires. It's 11.1 volts. It's going to be a lot of current, and this is it now. I think it's all connected, other than the speed controller and the wires from the speed controller. So I'm going to feed these through and do that. They go back inside the piston. To the piston, I'm going to feed these through and glue them in a bit just to keep them out of the way, and that's all looking, I think, pretty good. Okay, and this is everything connected up. I have now got the control room wired up. This is the 9-volt battery for the Arduino. This is the 4.8 volt battery that runs all the servos. Down here is the 11 volt battery, that's the big one that's going to run the motors and so on. That's connected up. I've got the two servos. These are small servos representing the bow hydroplane and the retract servo. This is the rudder servo, the hydroplane servo, or the other way around or something. This is the little peristaltic pump, which is going to do the trim tanks. I've got the piston wired up. I've got the main pump wired up that you can possibly not quite see here. And that's it. The only thing I haven't got, because the speed control is a problem, is the motors connected up. Everything else is connected. And when I throw this switch in a minute, we're going to see it all work for the very first time. I'm a little bit nervous. Always am when we do this sort of thing. So we turn the radio on, turn the power on. Oh, and that's it. Perfect. Okay, that was turned on accidentally. Okay. All right, so let's go piece. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, I'm in automatic control. That's I've always got to make sure on my radio that the automatic controls aren't on. What I'll do is I'll quickly reboot the Arduino. Now everything is no longer on automatic, so let's move the main pump. Yep. That's sounding good. Trim tanks. That's fine. That could be pumping a bit too fast. We'll see. Piston. It's going the wrong way. Never mind. I know that now, at least. What else do we have? Rudder. It's the one that you can't see. It's that one. Hydroplanes. They're both working. Now let's close up the bow hydroplanes. Stern one's still working. They're both off. Dead. Whoop. See, that worked nicely. Everything's working. Hallelujah. It all works. I think this deserves a glass of wine.